Hello again, everyone. Today I am here to show you a completed mixed media sketchbook that I made as part of a class with Laura Horn. If you don't know, Laura Horn is a pretty well-known mixed media artist, and she has a really interesting style where she mixes abstract with florals. And I've been trying to get more into abstracts myself as far as like figuring out composition and that sort of thing. So this seemed like a good course to take. The Creative Blend program is what I'm a part of, where this course was. But she also has the individual modules available individually for you to sign up for. So the Creative Blend program has different courses every month, and each month is called a module, and then you can get the individual modules by themselves. But I think you get extra if you sign up for the whole year. But this was part of my, extreme number of art classes that I've been taking this year online, and I've enjoyed so many of them. And I wanted to share this one. I know I've focused a lot on fodder school, which also is great, but I think that this program or this course really has been teaching me a little bit more about how to hone in on my style and how to get inspiration and how to work off of that inspiration to make a finished piece. So with this book, I was really exploring abstract composition and color, and I used a lot of the papers and collage materials that I have made in other courses. And what I noticed was sort of a trend of the same kind of colors that I've been using. So I think that I am sort of developing a color palette. And what I used here, for the most part, the colors that I used were black, obviously in various forms, Prussian blue, manganese blue, alizarin crimson, Indian yellow, and then some variations on white. And there might have been one or two extra colors in here. But like I said, I started with a base of papers that I'd made in Jean Monteith's Mixed Media Masterclass, actually. My papers that I made were very different from the ones that she made in the class, Jane Monteith. But they're more my color palette and more my style. So I thought I would try to incorporate some of the ones that I didn't use in the collage project that we used them for in that class here, because I did have a lot of full sheets of paper. But anyway, that's the setup. So let's go ahead and go through here. So the cover, I'll show you front and back first before we get in here. So the cover started with a base page that I had just spray painted with a stencil with black spray paint. And you can actually only see a little bit here behind. And then the same here, you can see a little bit here. And then I chose just 3 different collage papers here. I really like this graphic, I don't know, mark making that is showing up here. And I really love this sort of peachy color that's really becoming a color that I really, really love. So blue, pink, peach, sort of that. I mean, that seems to be my color palette. And I've really been drawn to these sort of broad marks of mark making. And this was actually a piece of fodder or collage fodder that I made as part of fodder school. And this was one of the classes where we really distressed our papers quite a bit, and they have a really natural look and feel. So part of what I also wanted to do in here is kind of blend the natural with more graphic geometric stuff. And I'm not sure, I'm still on a journey of figuring out what my overall style is. And this is another paper from that same class, and it's just very graphic and bold with the circles there. And I thought it went well on the back cover there. And I do see that it's lifting up a little bit. I used glue stick to put all of this together, and some things I think would have been a little bit better with matte medium like this one, because it's a really thick watercolor paper. But all that said, let's go ahead and get in here. And what I was thinking about when I went through each of these pages, because the pages, some pages are different sizes. So I wanted the entire composition to go together. Because here you have 3 layers of paper that are kind of overlapping each other. And so I wanted this and all of these things in the composition that you see on the page to kind of go together. And again, I'm trying to mix natural elements like this, I guess it's rice paper that has some sort of fibers in it. And then this is a lace paper that I use, so sort of natural shapes and that sort of thing. And then, you know, the hard lines that I put across here. And as always, I have some bits of Watership Down in here, and that's sort of going off of the natural element because, you know, the rabbit thing plus the paper is a little bit aged, and I kind of like that. And here, same as with here where you've got the natural material but bound up in a square, the same thing is true here. And this is actually a cyanotype, a bit sort of a scrap of a cyanotype that I made in that same Jane Monteith class. Cyanotypes are amazing. I highly recommend it if you've never tried it. It's really, really simple as far as materials and what you actually need to do, and it's so fun because you can do so many different things with it. But I've really been loving that. And here again, and so also I have sort of a mix of somewhat busy pages and a little bit more calm pages. I think that my overall style, I would like to shift more to this calm way. I have a real problem of just putting a ton of stuff on a page, and I think I need to learn to tone it back a little bit. So this is a page that I really, really like the composition of and the color story here. And these, again, are a couple of scrap cyanotypes onto this, this collage paper here. And then here's some just general mark making. And I did actually put some spray paint on here. And I had not used these colors before. So this is a mixing white, which is not opaque. It has some translucency to it. And then this is a translucent black. And they had some kind of interesting effects, so I kind of like it, especially this black, because you can see the elements underneath, but you still sort of have this grungy overspray, which I like. All right. And these papers were very, very thin. This was just regular drawing paper, so you will see some bleed through from the other page, but I kind of like how that works. Let's see. Yeah, most of this is probably on this page. And some of these pages were only one-sided when I started working with them for the sketchbook, and then I put stuff on the other side. And because the sketch paper is so light, it's very easy for it to bleed through, especially if I'm putting a lot of media on there. And I did try to also kind of tie in some gold on the pages where there was a little bit of gold, like here, there's a little bit of gold that I embellished the cyanotype with, so I tried to tie that in at various places. Here, there's just gold on this page, so I didn't really bother with that. So this was trying to tie that into here. And this is one of my favorite spreads as well. And you can see there is quite a bit of bleed through from the page before, but I kind of like it. It is, you know, slightly messy here, but I really kind of like that. And this is one of the more busy pages, and I'm trying to bring in natural elements with this lace here, and this was sort of a lace stamp onto tissue paper with some dimension. And then I was trying to kind of bridge the pages here with these white lines. This is another one of the more calm pages, probably because, you know, it's got that bluish green thing going on with it, and it's not, the composition isn't super busy. So what I plan to do too is to kind of go through here and see what I like about each of the pages. You know, I already know I like this color scheme, but, you know, what features of the page do I like? What compositional elements do I like? And then, you know, I may end up branching off on that. The only issue for me of doing that, of kind of using something like this for inspiration, is I kind of like just to go nuts in front of paper or whatever. I kind of have a general idea of what I'm going to do, but I don't necessarily plan a whole lot. And I'm kind of wondering if I should do that a little bit more just to kind of get some more cohesive pieces. Okay, and this was actually a page that was way more busy than it is now, believe it or not. So I added a lot of collage layers here to kind of tone it down a little bit. The colors definitely tone it down a little bit, which I actually end up liking this page a lot. And this is, again, some dimensional lace stuff here. And then here, this little insert here was had sort of a variety of purposes. First off, these pages, this page at the middle is so thin, and when I was binding it, I wanted to make sure it had something sturdy. So this is a more sturdy piece of paper, but I also kind of like how, depending on how you open this, it can have a variety of full pages here, just depending on how you put that or move that around. Again, this is one of the busiest pages in here. This one I really kind of struggled with. I got to a point where I like it, but I'm not sure. I don't think it's my favorite in here, but I think there's a lot of elements that I can pull from. And I do kind of like that right after that really busy page, I have this somewhat more calm page. And this is one of my favorites actually in the whole book. And part of the reason why I think I struggle with just sort of having a minimal design is when I'm sitting down to paint or do art, I kind of just want, like I said, to kind of go crazy on the paper. So I think what I need to do is maybe go crazy on paper and then use those as collage materials on a more calm page, because I definitely like the look of this better than this. Okay. And again, sort of mixing the sort of hard black line here with the softness of the lace, you know, dealing with the juxtaposition of different textures and that sort of thing. And again, you have some bleed through from the prior side, but I kind of like it in this instance. Oops, don't want to go too far. And this is also one of my favorite pages, mostly because of the colors. I just really, really like the color combo here. And this is almost like an ocean, you know, with lines going through. I really, really love that. And I like this as well. Actually, overall, I'm pretty happy with the sketchbook. This page I struggled with a little bit because the brushy strokes are really kind of busy. And so I made this paper first with the spray paint here, which I really liked the effect. And I tried to extend that over here, but because the white is transparent, too much of the texture was showing through. And then I tried to emphasize the texture by putting some lines here with a white gel pen, and I don't know, I'm just okay with this page. And then what I really kind of like is the fact that this paint color really went well with this little scrap of cyanotype. So it's kind of a learning experience of individual things. And what I think I've said this before, one of the reasons why I don't do a lot of art demos on the channel is because this took several sessions to get to this point. And I kind of feel like if I'm going to do a video, I don't want to do like half of a project or, you know, part of a composition or something and then leave you hanging, because and kind of, you know, I pick up things sort of on the fly and don't really think to put the camera on. So I know a few people have said, you know, where's your art? Well, first off, you can take a look at my Instagram, which I have linked in my profile page here on YouTube. But basically it's at mystery_b_arts on Instagram. And you can see not all, but a lot of the work that I'm working on. I tend to be kind of prolific, so there's a lot up there. And a lot of it is from classes. And that's the other thing too. I've been taking a lot of classes, and I feel like I can't show you the process for those classes because that's kind of proprietary information, and I don't want to do that. The reason why I felt like I could share this is because the individual pages are definitely very different from what Laura Horn put together, but the concept is something that I think I can share. All right, and then this is the last page, which I also really like. Yeah, because I've always really liked sort of geometric shapes like this square here with the organic dots. And then we have this organic paper in the square that's kind of reflected. But yeah, this is one of my attempts to try and get a little bit better at composition. And I do think the pages behind work very well with this. All right, so that's it. That's the end of the sketchbook. And I think I will probably try this exercise again because I think it was really, really useful to me to figure out a lot of likes and dislikes as far as going along. I think as a finished product, I really, really like this. I'm pretty proud of it. I like it a lot. I think it's really going in the direction that I see my style going. But overall, I think my style is probably a little bit messy, and I'm trying to tone it down a little bit, but we'll see. Like I said, it's a journey, and at this point, I'm not really selling artwork, so it's all really for me and to see where I end up and what I like. All right. Well, I hope this was fun for you to watch, and if you'd like more of this sort of thing, I know recently I did a flip through of a lot of the books that I did as part of classes. And yeah, just let me know if you want to see more stuff like that, because I'm happy to share. I know a lot of people would prefer a tutorial, but I may end up doing some in the future, but it just doesn't match my style of making art. And the tutorials that I have shown on the channel are more oriented towards sort of a meditative practice with watercolor and that sort of thing, which I feel more comfortable doing on camera as opposed to a full composition. I did do one where I did a landscape from a photo. You can probably look that up and see that in my channel. And it got really, very, very few views. So I figured that that wasn't something that people found interesting, but I could certainly go back to trying to do a whole composition in watercolor like that as well, because that I do usually finish in one sitting as opposed to this mixed media work, which I've been more leaning towards lately, which tends to go over a few sessions. All right, well, that's all I had for you today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Oh, and I did want to tell you one last thing about the sketchbook. This actually, I may end up using it to journal in after the fact, because I think that I could go over this with like a white gel pen with some journaling, and I think it might actually look quite nice, but I haven't decided yet as to whether I'm just going to leave it as is or whether I could do journaling. But that all is to say that if you do something like this, you could also use it for a practical purpose of journaling later instead of just having it as an art piece. All right, well, that really is it. Take care. See you next time. Bye.